That influenced my decision to leave and go to Spotify for sure. I didn't trust anybody. I didn't even trust Apple. I didn't trust because I knew that there were certain episodes, like when Alex Jones came on my podcast once, the ratings went down. Like there was no update in the ratings for like a week. And when I tell you it was my biggest podcast at that point in time, I think eventually Elon Musk became bigger and a few other ones became bigger. But at that time when Alex came on for episode 911, it was not just the biggest, but it was the biggest by far. And so
but that wasn't reflected.
Not only was it not reflected, there was no ratings. The ratings stopped. And then when it came back, that episode was ranked like, number 5 or 6 or something like that, where other episodes where I knew what the downloads were number 2 or 1. I'm like, how is that?
Yeah.
Well, they're doing some shenanigans. They didn't want that episode. I think somebody, I don't know if it's true. I might be wrong. But I think someone didn't want that episode to be number 1. Because the numbers were crazy. It was like 16, 18 million downloads. It was nuts. And it was because it was a wild, chaotic, alcohol and marijuana-fueled conspiracy ride with a maniac.
Yeah. Well, at a certain level of influence, that people do. At a certain level of influence, there are people that are able to pay detailed attention to very specific things. I'm sure, I wouldn't be shocked to hear that your show drew some special level of attention, the same way that there were people at Twitter assigned to Trump's tweets.
For sure. Yeah.
And then all the other, you could write insane stuff that would never get discovered.
Yeah.
But at a point, you're someone is forced to pay attention.
It had gotten to the point where the show was always number 1. So the episodes were always number 1. So if it was always number 1 and then he came on and it was number 1, that became a problem. And then the numbers were so high. It was an interesting moment. But it was also they were great. They never censored me. They never told me what to do or what not to do. No episodes ever got taken down. I mean, Apple is essentially, they're just an aggregator, right? They're
You're
not
saying Apple never took your episodes down?
Never once, never censored anything, never gave me a hard time, never gave any sort of criticism or anything. They were great. But they did a weird thing where they never really got involved financially in podcasts.